Hey guys, Dr. Morse, injury experts. Literally the first major play of the game. Xavier Worthy's running a cross pattern and absolutely levels Travis Kelce, who is much larger than him, connecting with their shoulders. Here's the play right here. Now, the first thing I thought of here, because of how small Worthy is, and because of how large Travis Kelce is the transfer of energy and exactly where Worthy was hit. Now, if he was hit in the middle of the chest, he would have knocked him over. If he hit him in the head, it would have possibly caused a concussion. But he hit him square in the shoulder, not in the chest, in the shoulder. So what are we talking about here? The shoulder, the main joint in the shoulder is the glenohumeral joint. It's like a ball and socket. The top part is the AC joint. That's traditionally injured when you land directly on that. Think that's what happened to Anthony Richardson multiple times. But when you are dealing with the main joint of the shoulder, and you have enough force of someone running literally through you just due to friendly fire, a la Rashee Rice and Patrick Mahomes last year, you can have significant translation of energy. And what happens is that ball pops out of the socket. Now, if this wasn't a big deal, Worthy would have got up immediately and he probably would have, scrambled a little bit. Maybe he would have stayed in the game. Maybe he would have walked out. But when this is really uncomfortable, when you truly dislocate a shoulder, especially traumatic like he did, you're hurting bad. And a lot of the times you can't get the shoulder back in the joint. So that's what I think this was. I think this is a anterior translation leading to a posterior shoulder dislocation. And that usually means a torn labrum. Now, what else could this be? It could be a clavicle fracture. A little fluky, kind of the pattern wouldn't fit, but it's possible. This could be an SC sprain. That's what Tyreek Hill had 6-7 years ago. That's what Hollywood Brown had last year. But again, that's usually not the mechanism for that. And the way Kelce hit him doesn't really correlate with this. Now, it's possible to fracture this area, but that is pretty rare in a young, healthy, elite athlete. So, there are multiple different possibilities, but the most likely possibility, and the fact that they ruled him out, and he did not return, and he walked across the field into the locker room with a towel over his head, basically saying, I'm hurting right now, and this is not a good situation. He went back to get x-rays. They may or may not have been positive, which is a bad thing. And then they ruled him out. He needs an MRI, but they're in Brazil. I don't know if they're going to get him an MRI in Brazil, but you can pretty much tell clinically that this is a significant shoulder dislocation. Sometimes you have to go to the ER to get anesthesia to pop the shoulder back in. Now, depending on the severity of the labral tear will depend on how long this is going to keep him out. Best case scenario, he probably misses 2 weeks. If this is a true dislocated shoulder, and this is the first time he's done it, and it's significant to the point where Kelce pretty much tried to take his head off, not on purpose, but this is probably going to be season ending. Why? Because that labrum is so important to stability of the shoulder. And when you pop out the socket that much, it's never the same until you repair that. That is such a significant injury, especially with that level of trauma. He might have actually fractured what we call the rim, what we call a bony Bankart, where you actually pop that off. So that's likely one of the possibilities here. If that is indeed the case, he needs season-ending surgery, and there's nothing they can do about it. Unfortunately, Rashee Rice is out for the first 6 games. We saw Hollywood Brown get a ton of volume. We just saw Taquan Thornton catch a beautiful pass, and he may be important. Juju Smith-Schuster hasn't really done a whole lot. Travis Kelce hasn't done a whole lot. They really depended on Worthy to stretch this field, and that nipped in the bud immediately. I'll give you more information when we have it, but I have significant concerns about a potential long-term injury, multi-week, potentially season-ending for Xavier Worthy, unfortunately. So maybe they call the Dolphins and say, hey, can we get Tyreek Hill? I don't know. But hopefully I'm wrong and we have some good news, but I don't have a good feeling about this one. I'll give you more information when we have it.